You know, I've never really got the whole idea of zombies being popular in video games and in just the modern day in general, like in pop culture and all that. Like, I understand that they're kind of cool and the design on how they're not really us, but they are, and there's that humanity within them that we don't understand. But in general, they're all just mostly dead and lifeless and don't understand what they're doing. Anyway, following on from that, welcome to another Nitalics video. Now that the insults out of the way, I can actually get on with the video at hand. I'm just surprised because the last Burnout one did quite well. Why? Why do people like that? I mean, I'm quite proud of it. I thought it was quite funny. It had train PTSD in it. That was fun. But honestly, thank you all very much for anyone who watched it, and if I got a laugh out of you, congrats. That doesn't normally happen to anyone that I've ever met. Today's topic is about Days Gone, but I was going to do a April Fool's thing the other day, because the other day was April Fool's, but I thought about it and I went, well, I could add a joke in, but this channel is already a joke in itself, so I just figured, why add any more? Like, you could just look at my channel and go, that's an April Fool's joke in itself, but all year round and every time he uploads. So today's topic at hand is going to be the upcoming open world game Days Gone, which is sort of a survival horror take with some zombies in it. I mean, not exactly original, but we can have a chat about it, can't we? It's been developed by SIE Ben Studio. I'm just going to assume that SIE stands for Sony Interactive Entertainment, but oh yeah, because that's who published it. That's who's going to publish it, at least. I mean, I always thought it stood for, well, in my case, sometimes I edit, but in their case, it's sometimes I entertain. It's out only on PS4, which is becoming a bit of a theme since I talked about Spider-Man in the last one. That was completely by accident. It's just this one's coming out on the 26th, which is ironically the same day as Endgame comes out, but I won't do a thing on that. And I probably won't buy that on the day it comes out because I'll be watching Endgame. So Days Gone is this sort of open world third-person action game where you play as a guy called Deacon St. John. Good name. Who was like this former outlaw turned drifter. I mean, he could be a bounty hunter as well, but I don't really know the details of it. And he sort of rides around in the wilderness, like taking out camps and doing his own shit, which is always good. You know, he seems like a cool guy. Got some tattoos. Has a nice bandana. Has a gun and a bike. Bikes are always cool. It sort of takes place a couple of years after this like big pandemic, because doesn't it always? And now you've got like millions. Now I'm just gonna say, because they're called freakers in this game. And they're described as mindless zombie-like creatures. You could just call them zombies, because they are. That's exactly what they are. But much like every other thing, they refuse to call them by their actual name. Like, you've got walkers and runners and streakers. I was one of them once. It was a bad day. The box just sort of shows him, like, sitting next to his bike on the floor when he could very easily be sitting somewhere much more comfortable. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, I can't really say anything. I mean, I've sort of perched myself just on the floor of my room. Don't understand why. Here's some footage of me doing that, because it's just a horrible position. I've got a perfectly good sofa behind me, but I'm just not using it. So you've got certain types of freakers. So you've got things like newts and hordes. Hordes, they've got this sort of horde mechanic where they're sort of spread around the map, and then they don't really despawn, they're just always around, and then if you get spotted by one, they'll just come at you, like run right at you. There's hundreds of them. It's like, if they can run that kind of stuff, we saw it in the trailers, there was loads of them at that like sort of wood place, the woodcutters area, the sawmill, as it were. It was like him running on top of one of those big oil, not an oil thing, but like one of those big tankers, and he's like trying to shoot them down. But you know, if they can get that and have it still at 60 FPS, I'd be very surprised, you know, if they can keep it at that level. Of course, in these games, it's not just going to be zombies. You've got apparently bandits and other human-based enemies as well, which is always nice. It's good to have something that isn't a zombie. And much like every other open world game, you can just mess around in your own way, so you can complete objectives in your own style. So you can use stealth or long or short range weapons, but that usually just means stealth, because you'll alert everyone, so you'll have to resort to stealth, and then you have to go back to doing the shooting and then back to stealth. Yeah, it's just stealth. Just do that. I don't get this sudden like stealth uprising in games. Like, I understand the use of it, but some games just don't need it. Like, if you've got hordes of enemies, you're not exactly going to be stealthing around them. Just, you know, have a massacre. It's more fun. It's similar slightly to Dying Light in that you have more aggressive and slightly quicker zombies by night, which is fine by me with the whole dynamic weather and day-night cycle and all that, I expect to have some sort of challenge within that, and that's fine. Zombies are probably, I don't get why they're not really hunters at night, they sort of just hunt whenever. What I'm quite intrigued about is his bike, Deacon's bike, because you have to, like, you know, maintain it, a bit like in Red Dead 2 when you have to maintain your guns, you have to maintain your bike, and you can't just like fast travel because you have, you know, you have to be on your bike to do that. And if you just leave your bike and start wandering around, you have to find your bike again, it doesn't just come to you. And I think that'd be quite interesting if you're in a panic and you're like, oh god, where have I left it? Where's it gone? And of course there's crafting and all that shit. The main reason I'm talking about Days Gone is because, you know, I was hyping up since 2015 because that was when it first went into production, and then it, you know, they had all the stuff for E3, so, but it's been like pushed back many months. So it was meant to come out in February, then it didn't, then it was meant to come out in March, and then it didn't, and now it's been moved to the end of April. So I'm interested to see what they've done in that time. But yeah, we had stuff from it in E3 2016 and E3 2017, but you know, as much as it doesn't really have a huge amount of original ideas, so to speak, I think it could come out in quite an interesting way and have quite a lot of backing behind it. It looks amazing, and I'm hoping that it'll come out and it'll receive good reviews. But in terms, you know, in terms of originality, you never know. It's part of that ongoing sandbox action adventure craze where, oh, I have an idea, quickly make it into that. But you know, I'm interested. You know, if I have interest, I'm going to talk about it. It doesn't matter, you know, if you don't care about it, then don't buy it. It's as simple as that. And if you don't have a PS4, then you've got no chance. You also have made a huge mistake. Oh, that's the spot. Oh yeah.